Okay, so let's dive right in. For this practice, you are going to need a blanket that has been rolled up like so. You will need one block, and you will need a strap for your practice. Now, the strap we can go ahead and get ready right now. You're going to take a strap and make it the distance of your two thighs when you're standing hip distance apart. And if you have purchased the strap that I recommended, then you have one of these super easy to use quick release straps, and you'll be able to just pull it tight. So the strap is going to go around the middle of your thighs in such a way that when you push out, your knees, your legs can't go any farther past than hip distance apart. And then you can unclip your strap and set it aside so that it is ready to go for our practice. You will find that that hip distance is the exact same distance that you need for your shoulder girdle. So we'll be using it both on the thighs and on the shoulders in practice today. So take your block straight away, and we're going to have a seat on the block in Vajrasana. The block is going to be positioned this way, so it's on its lowest height and it's sort of horizontal. And as always, if this bothers your knees, choose a different seat. Wherever you are, though, I want your pelvic floor pointing straight down. We're going to work through just a little bit of abdominal activation here. So sit on the block, and I want you to focus in on your pelvic floor. And if you need to close your eyes so you can kind of start to feel into that region of the body, then close your eyes. It's always a bit funny to me because whenever we talk about the pelvic floor, I always see students' eyes go up to the sky like this, and I always make the joke, I promise it's not up there. So be aware of how your neurology is trying to make connection with this region of the body. And start to just breathe some nice diaphragmatic belly abdominal breaths, chest still, abdomen soft. And I want you to start to hone in and feel how there's a little subtle, gentle movement of the pelvic floor as you breathe. Good. Now, as you continue to breathe in this way, we're going to play with a little bit of pelvic floor activation. When we're doing challenging movements, it is useful and in certain yoga postures to find a little extra stabilization and contraction through the pelvic floor, and you'll sometimes hear this called mula bandha, or the root lock. So as you breathe now, I want you to first hone in, and this might not become easily apparent today, but keep playing with it, with the muscles between your pubic bone and your tailbone. And I want you to imagine now that you are squeezing those muscles towards each other. So that muscle that runs from the pubic bone to your coccyx, your tailbone, that you are contracting and pulling that up and in. And then relax that. And now your two sitting bones are another part of your pelvic sling. There's another muscle that runs across there. I want you to imagine squeezing your two sitting bones together. And just play with that for a couple breaths, the sensation of squeezing those two sitting bones towards each other. And then relax that. And now imagine that diamond shape that we've created, the two sitting bones, pubic bone, and the coccyx, all four of those points pulling up, sort of like, I always think it's like a tissue being pulled out of a tissue box, all of those muscles being gently lifted and pulled up and in. So as you exhale, pull your pubic bone and your coccyx gently towards each other, and pull your two sitting bones towards each other. And find that little contraction. And then relax the pelvic floor completely. Do that a couple more times and really see if you can find complete relaxation of the pelvic floor in between those contractions. Very good. And relax your pelvic floor. And now bring your fingertips just inside of your lowest ribs. This is actually where your transverse abdominis attach. A little reminder for those of you that just haven't taken your anatomy in a little while. They also connect then down on the top of your pelvic ring. So I want you to imagine here now drawing your lowest rib points down and in, and then pulling your pubic bone towards your navel center. And then I really want you to go for it and contract your abdomen, making connection with your fingers as strongly as possible. And then release that contraction by half, 50%. And then take that 50% contraction, relax it again, so that now there's just kind of like a little bit of tone to the abdomen. This is what I want you to think about when we talk about corseting the waist today. So take another moment just feeling now that contraction on the exhale of transverse abdominals, everything corseting in, and this gentle lift of your pelvic floor. And take 3 more rounds of Ujjayi breath, finding that contraction in the abdomen and the contraction in the pelvic floor. And then let's softly open the eyes. Set the block right at the top of the mat to the right of your mat, because we will use that again very quickly. And then come onto all fours. Plant your hands directly underneath of your shoulder girdle. Curl your toes under and find a dog. And if you're like me, this is your first movement of the day, so pedal your feet, just gently starting to open up the backs of your legs. As you breathe, continue applying those principles that we just practiced on the mat, of that little lift of the pelvic floor and the abdominal contraction. And now inhale and come forward to a plank and push the floor away, harder than the floor is pushing you, so that you're finding this cobra hood. You're protracting your scapula towards the sky. It means the upper middle back is pushing in. Pull your navel point in, press back through your heels. And then press back, downward facing dog again. And a little longer hold. Again, inhale, come forward to plank, push the floor away, hollow the front body, activating the core. And find a dog again. One more time, come forward to a plank. And press back, find a dog. Now from your dog, bend your knees, take your seat high and wide, widen your sitting bones away from each other, and then come forward right into floating up dog, so melt the pelvis towards the floor, press back through your heels, broaden your collarbones, look straight ahead. And then find a dog. And then come back forward right into that up dog again, toes curled under, and find a dog. And a couple more times, just move forward and back, bringing a little bit of speed into it. Super strong in the legs. One more time. And hold your dog. From the dog pose, walk your feet now to the top of your mat. Little bend in the knees. Grab your block and lengthen the front of your spine forward and push all the way up to stand with a flat back. Now take the block and place it between your inner thighs the long way. And right here, just feel this action of sort of squeezing the block, and I'm exaggerating this, so that it's almost like you were trying to pop the block out behind you, and you feel this activation of the inner thighs, and with that, you'll feel a broadening of the sacral region. We're going to move through a sun salutation with the block between the thighs, so you can start to feel the connection between the squeeze of the inner thighs and that what we call the inner spiral in a back bend versus when we, in a moment, strap our thighs and work gluteal activation in the back bends, so that you can feel how you need an interplay of both of these things to a certain degree to stabilize the back bend. So squeeze the block, inhale, and take your arms up to Vajrasana, and right here, wrap your armpits towards your heart so that you are, again, finding this activation through the shoulder girdle. And then exhale, hinge from your hips. Squeeze the block the whole time and fold forward over your legs. Inhale and halfway lift. Lengthen the front of your spine forward. And now this part is a little bit awkward. Waddle your feet back, sort of like a little penguin. It's a downward facing dog. And squeeze the block. Pop the block back behind you energetically and feel your sitting bones widen, pelvic floor opening towards the sky. Squeeze the block and come forward to plank. Hold here, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lower down to your belly. Keep squeezing the block and then push your chest up and come into upward facing dog. Squeeze the block and just feel what that does to the sacrum, to the lower back, and then take your seat high and wide. And then waddle back up towards the top of the mat, squeezing the block. Inhale, halfway lift. Squeeze your block, fold over your legs. Long spine, push all the way to stand, squeezing the block, arms up. And now from here, take your hands to the top of your seat, fingers down. Stabilize your glutes, hug your elbows in, squeeze the block, push your pelvis forward, and take a little back bend. And then inhale, come back up to the top, remove the block, and set the block aside, and grab your strap. So we already got our strap ready at the beginning of practice. So take the strap around your upper middle thighs. Got a lot of extra length here, so I'm going to wrap it around a couple times. You might do the same. And now push out into the strap and feel how when you do that, your outer hips, glutes, and outer thighs light up and engage. So pushing out into the strap now. Inhale, take your arms up. And exhale, push out into that strap powerfully and fold forward over your legs. Inhale and halfway lift. And then same thing, waddle, 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 back to downward facing dog, pushing out into your strap. Come forward to plank and lower down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, push out into the strap and feel. And exhale, downward facing dog. Keep pushing into the strap and walk your feet forward. Halfway lift and fold in. Push all the way up to stand. Take your arms up. And same thing, bring your hands to the top of your seat. Hug your elbows back, push into the strap, and feel where you can go now with the glutes activated. The strap is essentially being your glutes for you. And then come back up and release your arms. Pause here. I need to tighten my strap a tiny bit. It might come a little bit loose as you're practicing. Keep the strap where it is. And now from here, I went a little too much. There we go. A little awkward. From here, keep the strap where it is in the middle of your thighs. Bring your hands to your heart center and then bend your knees and push out into the strap. And just hold here, pushing out into the strap, lifting your chest, shifting the weight back till you feel the part of your seat activate, lifting your chest, finding a little back bend here. Push, 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 push. Hold and breathe. A little smile, activating those glutes, pulling your belly in. And then press all the way up to stand. Release your arms, rest for a second. Second set, hands to your heart center, bend your knees, push out into the strap powerfully, sit back in your chair, and really feel this gluteal activation. You might even touch it with your hands and make a kinesthetic connection, mind and physical connection. Use touch, keep pushing back, keep lifting your chest. You're doing great, breathe here. And lift up. Pause and rest for a moment. And we have one more set. Once again, bend your knees, seat back, push out into the strap, activating back line of the body, stabilizing that posterior chain for your back bend. That's it. And now push to stand and relax your arms. So for our next little drill here, keep pushing out into the strap. Weight your left foot and wrap your left seat towards your left heel, and then bend your right knee and kick your right heel out to the side, and then push out into the strap. If you want to make it more spiritual, you can bring your hands to your heart center or hands to your hips as you wish, but push out into that strap, drive your pubic bone forward, and hold here. You'll feel a different part of your seat activating. Breathe. Nice and stable and strong. If this hurts a lot, you just learned something about your gluteal stability, or if you have any. This is a great drill to do every single day before you practice asana. Relax and release. Weight your right foot. Kick out into the strap with your left, and then kick your heel open to the side. Keep wrapping your right hip towards your seat. Breathe. Keep pushing, keep breathing. So nice. Relax your left leg. Good. Take your hands to the top of your seat once again. Push out into the strap, your fingertips pointing down towards your seat. Pull your abdominals in, and then tip back in your back bend. You can even bend the knees a little bit. And then press all the way up to stand. Nice job. You may remove the strap, set it aside. We'll be using it for the shoulders. Should feel like you got quite a bit of activation happening in your seat right now, and I hope you could feel how that impacted your back bend in the practice. We're going to come down to our knees now, into Vajrasana. If Vajrasana bothers your knees, you're going to sit up on top of a block, and you can have the block available for when we come back into Supta Vajrasana. I like to take the flesh of my calves out of the way and lower my seat down onto the ground. Again, if this is too much for you, you're sitting up on a block, allowing yourself to breathe and to start opening up the fronts of the thighs. Now, your heels should be pretty close to your seat. If you're coming down, you might choose to use a block. You can place the block back underneath of your scapula, and then even take the blanket, if you wish, back behind your head. I'm going to take my arms over my head, opposite palm to opposite elbow, and lean back. Breathe here. You might be all the way on the floor as well. I prefer to have a block underneath of my shoulder blades. You can also prop yourself up higher with a bolster behind your back. And keep opening up front of the thighs here. Opening up your chest. Whole front line of the body. So we worked with stabilizing posterior chain, and now here we are opening the anterior chain, front of the body. Couple more breaths here. nice. Mindfully, bring your hands to your feet, forearms to the floor, and walk yourself up. Set the block over to the right. Come back up onto your knees. You can make your way to all fours, and then curl your toes under and find a dog. Come forward to plank and walk your right elbow down and your left elbow down. Take a nice deep breath here. Place your left hand down and your right hand down. Walk it back up to a plank. Walk your left elbow down and your right elbow down, forearm plank. Walk your left hand up and your right hand up. One more time. Right elbow, and left elbow, right elbow. And find a dog. Come down to all fours. I'm going to activate the hamstrings, which are super important in upward facing bow. And take the block between, this is always a little awkward, between your sitting bone and your heel. And then find a dog on your right foot. And now drive your heel towards the sky and squeeze the block. And drag your knee in and push it back up to the sky. Drag your knee down and in. You might have dropped your block, it happens. Push back up to the sky. Again, drag your knee down, squeeze that block so hard, and push it back up. Lower back down onto your right knee. Lift your left knee, squeeze the block. Look forward, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And now tap up an inch, up, up, up. I hope you're squeezing that block like crazy, like you were trying to crush it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Tap it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your left knee down. Set the block aside. Sit back on your heels just for a moment. I hope you felt some nice activation there. Let's switch sides. Come to all fours. Put the block between your heel and your butt on your right side. Curl your toes under on the left. Squeeze that block. Push your right heel to the sky. Squeeze the block. Open up the hamstring. Now drop the knee down. Lift the knee back up. Drop the knee down. Lift it back up. One more. Pull the knee in. Push your hip back. Drop down to your left knee with control. I need to readjust my block. And then squeeze your right heel. Squeeze your heel towards your butt on that block. And kick up, 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 up. Maybe you're shaking a little bit. Little kicks up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Lower your right knee down. Remove the block. Curl your toes under. And find downward facing dog once again. Seat high and wide. Armpits towards your heart. Breathe here. Step your feet to touch. And push through the ball of your right foot, demi-point your right foot, and stretch your right leg to the sky, keeping your hips squared. Now curl your heel to your butt, squeezing your hamstring, and start to round your back. Find that cobra hood. Draw your knee down the center line. Hold. Squeeze, push the floor away. And step your right foot between your hands. And then drop to your back knee. And just pause here for a moment. Open up the front of your left thigh, left hip flexors. Just move around a little bit. Sometimes I even like to roll all the way over onto my bottom leg. Really, whatever is calling to you here. I like to come through my side body here and find that nice big stretch through the left side of my waist. Come back over. Walk your back knee in a little farther than normal. Bring your hands up to your front thigh. Now tuck your tail underneath of you, finding what is called a posterior tilt in your pelvis. Push your front thigh away, corset your waist, round your back, and keep driving your pelvis forward. And then shift forward just a little bit. So nice. Take another couple breaths here. And then slowly walk your hands down to the floor again. Walk your left knee back a little bit. You should be back off of your kneecap. Press the baby toe side of your left foot to the floor. Stay in your hip crease and take your arms up. Hook your thumbs. Push into your right heel and anchor through that baby toe side of the back foot to lift yourself up higher. Pull your thumbs apart and wrap your armpits towards your heart. And breathe. Nice and steady. So good. Now from here, catch your left wrist and tilt up and over to the right. And for a moment, just take that side body stretch. And now turn the right side of your chest towards the sky and keep shifting forward for a nice psoas stretch. Bring your torso back to the center. Take your arms back, just like we did in our other Urdhva Dhanurasana class, and kick your heel in. Grab a hold of your left ankle. Kick your heel into your hand. Kick, kick, kick. Opening up that rectus femoris. Good. Now release your right hand from the bind and take it to the inside or the outside of your right foot, I don't care. And then keep shifting your left hip forward to deepen the opening in that front thigh. Flex your left foot. So nice. Mindfully let go of the foot. Keep squeezing it in. Hamstring activation. Lower your left foot down. And now walk your right foot out to the side for a little lizard stretch. Turn your right toes open. Lengthen your chest forward. And again, you can shift around a little bit here. And any variation of this that you like is fine with me. You can stay here. You can straighten the back leg. You can come down onto your forearms. I'm going to roll to the pinky edge of my right foot, spin my left forearm across, and catch the pinky edge of my left foot and find a little twist, pushing into my foot, rolling my chest open, and finding the back bend in the twist. So nice. Release your back foot if you took a hold of it. Walk your hands in and step back to a dog. And just pause for a moment. And now step your feet to touch once again. Lift your left leg to the sky, pushing through the ball of your left foot. Drag your heel to your butt powerfully. And now round your back, hollow your front body, roll forward, hold, push the floor away. And step your left foot through. And drop to your back knee. And just like before, just move around a little bit here. If you want to take that variation I did, I'm just rolling over into my right hip. Just kind of moving in and out of that. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Come back to the center. Curl your back toes under and walk your right knee in a little bit. Hands to your front thigh. Just like before, tuck your tail underneath if you find that posterior tilt. Pull your abdominals in, round your back, and then shift your hips slightly forward. And then gently Release that, bring your hands down. Walk your right knee back so you come past the kneecap once again. And then from here, baby toe side of the right foot down, sweep your arms up, hook your thumbs, push into your left heel and the baby toe side of your right foot, and lift up and off of yourself. And then just like before, grab your right wrist, start with the lateral side bend, just taking it up and over to the left, holding onto your right wrist. And now scoop left side of your chest towards the sky. So as stretch. Come back to the midline, drag your right heel in. It's okay if you can't do that in one motion. Kick your ankle into your hands, drive your pubic bone forward, and lift your chest. Bring your hands down, slowly release the back foot. And again, don't release your back foot. Bring your left hand down and then keep a hold of the foot, but drag your torso more forward so you can deepen the stretch in the front of the thigh. Pardon me. Got to make sure you're even on both sides. So nice. Release. Now take your lizard stretch. Walk your left foot out to the side. Again, pick the option that's best for you. I'm going to come down on my right forearm, spin my forearm in, pinky edge of the right foot, and find the back bend. Release your back foot. Walk your hands back up and in, and step back, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank and lower to your belly. Reach your hands back towards your heels and lift everything up off of the floor. Feet, chest, into Shavasana. Bend your knees, drag your heels in and catch your ankles and kick into your hands. Vajrasana, floor bow. Lower down, hands next to your ribs. Curl your toes under, press up through floating up dog, and downward facing dog. Please drop to your knees. Grab a block and your strap and have them ready to go. You can keep the strap and the block off to the side for a moment. And we're going to come to stand on our knees for Vajrasana, Camel Pose. Take your knees hip distance apart. Now, there's a lot of stuff on the internet about how you need to have your thighs completely flush to a wall in this posture. It's not true. Nothing is going to happen to you if you don't. And in fact, people like me, you guys probably know I have mesh in my abdomen and I've had a lot of abdominal surgery, so that's not possible for me anymore. So you're not going to see me in a super deep back bend here. If it's available to you, rock on, enjoy yourself. But do take comfort that you're not going to die and nothing terrible is going to happen to you if your thighs are not pressed forward against the wall. It's quite compressive on the lower back actually, and not possible for a lot of us. So press the tops of the feet down, or if you wish, curl your toes under, lengthen your tailbone underneath of you, and find that corseting action that we initially found in the beginning of practice. Push into the tops of the feet, tilt your chest back, lean back, and then reach back and see if you can find your heels. Lift your chest. Wrap your armpits towards your heart. Play around with how much gluteal engagement you need here. We'll come up the same way. Energize the low belly, lift up, and sit back on your heels for a moment. And just take a pause. Feel your breath. Very nice job. Now let's take the block and place the block between your heels on the floor. So you're sitting on it like in Vajrasana. Take your strap and place it around your thighs once again. In the same position we had it before. Now come back up to stand on your knees once again. Squeeze the block with your heels, super powerful. That's going to give you the sense of the internal rotation that we created at the front of the practice when we put the block between our thighs. And the strap is acting as your gluteal muscles and giving you the external rotation in the thighs. And then squeeze your abs, lean back, and bring your hands down to your heels once again. Squeeze the block, push out into the strap. Squeeze the block, push out into the strap. Super powerful. Lift back up. Sit back on your heels and release the strap. And just pause for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. Long breath out. Okay, staying seated here on the block, interlace your fingers at your lower back. And pay attention to which thumb is on top. You can work the palms towards each other. Lift your chest, lift your arms up and back. Nice and powerful. Good. Now, release the clasp, but very strong. Push back like Superman cape, and now start to externally rotate. So your thumbs come up towards the sky. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Keep squeezing, and start to lift your arms up, but move like you're moving through mud. Make this extremely challenging. Keep wrapping, keep reaching. Armpits towards the heart, all the way up towards the top. Good, now flip your palms so you're in internal rotation. Your thumbs are coming towards your face, and start to take them back behind you. Internally rotate, Wrap even more. Reach back. Your thumbs should still be pointing towards the sky. Might burn a little bit, and now flip the grip of which one was on top and clasp back behind your back again. It's hard work. If that was easy, you weren't doing it right. Take another breath. And again, reach up and back. Pull the fingers apart. And now start to externally rotate. Flip your palms, thumbs towards the sky. Squeeze. Make this super hard work. All the way up to the sky. And now internally rotate. Thumbs towards your ears. Start to drag your hands back behind you. Spiral the biceps even more. Reach. Reach back. And release your arms down. Good, just shake out your arms. Should feel a little bit of burn there in the deltoids. Good. Come off of the block and set it aside. And come up to stand once again with your strap. First round, we're not going to use the strap, but make a loop in it and then set it down at your feet. Hug your elbows into your side, just stand in Tadasana. And now, like you were moving through mud, I want you to imagine that the air just got a lot thicker in here. And I want you to squeeze your elbows in and push your arms open. So there should feel a lot of activation in your upper arms. And now squeeze, drag in. You can see I'm shaking because I'm activating all of my muscles. So use your own resistance and roll in and out. Building a little bit of stability through the rotator cuff of the shoulder. Push out and squeeze in. One more time. Push out and squeeze in. Okay, now that we've got that action, grab your strap and put the strap around your arms. hug that into your chest, push out into the strap just like before, and now push out into the strap, squeeze in, keep pushing out into the strap, and open wide. Push, push, push out into that strap the whole time. This should feel challenging. Squeeze, push out. 4 more. In, push out, squeeze in, and push out. 2 more times. Squeeze in and push out. Last one, squeeze, push out, stay here. Squeeze out into the strap, lift your arms up, tap your nose with the strap, lower back down. Push out into that strap like crazy. 4 more, pull up, tap your nose, push down. 3 more, lift up, tap your nose, lower down. Last 2, little soft smile, tap your nose, lower down. Last time, lift it up and lower down. Relax your arms, remove the strap, set it aside. We are definitely not done with it. And let's come back down onto the mat to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, look forward at your hands and do your best to wrap your triceps underneath of you and lower both elbows to the floor, and then spin in, interlace your fingers. Walk your toes back just a little bit, and now dive forward. Bring your nose towards your thumbs. Press back. Do that a couple more times. Dive forward, keeping your elbows hugging in, and back. Dive forward and back. 1 more time. Forward and back. Stay here. And now walk your toes into Dolphin Pose. Walk in, opening up the shoulders. In a more advanced class, this would be a great place to insert a headstand or a forearm stand. Walk your feet back, spin your palms back to the floor, lift both elbows up, press back to downward facing dog, and come to your knees once again. You can either sit on your block or just back on your heels as you wish. Little Gomukhasana action in the arms. So I'm going to turn around so that my back is facing you. Take your left hand, cross it over your right hip. Take your right hand, cross it over your left. And now extricate your left hand and flip your palm away from you so your thumb is pointing down. Watch your hand with your eyes. Take your left hand up to the sky. Turn to the left and swing your left hand up your back and then turn your chest back to the center. Flip your right palm towards the floor. Trace your right hand with your gaze, turn to the right, and take your right hand back behind you, reaching for your left elbow. And you might not have a hold of your elbow, you might just have a hold of your forearm. That is perfectly fine. Now take your right hand, flip your palm away from you, watch it with your gaze, take it up to the sky, bend your right elbow and take the clasp. Please do not use a strap if you can't reach. Just reach your hands towards each other so you have good connection with your own body. And then wrap both of your armpits towards your heart. Pretend your right elbow is the top of a spoon and your left elbow is the bottom of the same spoon, and try to stir your spoon. Super nice. I know this is uncomfortable. Come back to the center. Take your right arm up, cross your left hip. Take your left arm, keep it close to your body, slide it down your side. Take your left arm up and over and cross it over your right hip. Now extricate your right palm, flip your thumb towards the sky, watch it with your gaze, turn to the right and swing your right hand up your back. And then look at your left hand, turn to the left and swing it behind your back, reaching for your elbow or your forearm. Eventually it will fit. You are meant to fit yourself. All geometry is sacred geometry, and your body is made up of math equations. So in time, with practice, you will begin to fit yourself. Take your left arm up to the sky. Take the clasp. Take your left hand to your right thigh. Slide your right hand down your back. Turn to the right. Trace it with your gaze and cross your hip. A little quicker through both sides. Take your left arm up to the sky. Turn to the left. Swing it up your back. Take your right arm, twist to the right, and grab a hold of your elbow. Turn your chest back towards your knees. Take your right arm, sweep it up to the sky. Find the clasp. Take your right arm up to the sky, cross your left hip, slide your left hand down, take it up to the sky, cross your right hip. Take your right arm out, swing it behind your back, slide it up your back. Take your left arm, turn to the left, and catch your right elbow. Take your left arm up to the sky. Find the clasp. Last time. Take your left hand to your right hip. Slide your right hand down and cross your left hip. I know that's uncomfortable. You can just shake your arms out. You can circle your shoulders as you wish. Move around a little bit. And then take your block. If you have 2 blocks, that's nice for this. Line them up at the top of your mat. 1 is also sufficient. And then walk back on your knees and prop your elbows up on the blocks. And then walk your knees back so that you can drop your head through. Now, this is step 1. Option 2 is to bring your thumbs to your spine and pause here for a moment. And try not to collapse through your abdomen. Keep connected to your pelvis. And even as you're opening, keep wrapping your armpits towards your heart here. And now spin your palms to your shoulder blades if that's available to you to open up a little more of the shoulder girdle. And slowly, mindfully wiggle your way back up. Sit back and set the blocks aside. Okay, we have arrived at Urdhva Dhanurasana time. So take the strap and place it around your thighs. Once again. Right in the middle of the thigh. And what this is going to do is prevent the heels from spinning in and the toes open. The reason that people do that is because they're using their glutes to compensate for weakness in the shoulder. So when you squeeze your butt like that, it externally rotates the hips so the feet spin open. So we are basically using the strap in place of the glutes to help stabilize the lower body, and it'll make it a little bit easier to press up. So take your feet hip distance apart and push out into the strap. Plant your hands next to your ears with your fingertips pointing towards your feet. Push out into the strap, lift your hips, and press to the crown of the head. Hug your elbows in, and now straighten your arms. And keep pushing out into the strap. Breathe here. And then tuck your chin in. Pause, lower down onto your back. Just pause here for a moment and feel that. We're going to do it again with the strap. The first wheel is always sort of like which technically, by the way, this is not wheel pose. It's upward bow, but people often call it wheel. As you're probably aware, it doesn't look anything like a wheel. There is a posture called Chakrasana where your chest and your head is on the floor and you're actually holding your feet. I am not going to demonstrate that for you. I'm not capable of demonstrating that for you. It's kind of a circus performer move. So, again, feet hip distance apart. Plant your hands in line with your ears. Push out into the strap. Lift your pelvis, crown of the head, and straighten your arms. Push, push, push out into that strap. Keep wrapping your armpits towards your heart. Keep pulling your pubic bone towards your navel. Tuck your chin, lower down, and pause at the bottom for a moment. You can remove the strap. Our third and final set will be done without the strap. Set it aside. And now, for your grand finale, we'll take a couple Urdhva Dhanurasana push-ups and then hold our shape for a couple breaths. So keep your feet parallel, remembering all the key actions that you've learned in your class today. Push to the crown of the head. And now straighten your arms. And now hug your elbows in and tap your head on the ground. And re-straighten your arms. And again, tap your head, re-straighten. Last time, tap and re-straighten. And hold the pose. Tuck your chin, lower your head, lower your chest, lower your hips. Reach over and grab a block and slide the block on its lowest height underneath of your sacrum. Take your arms next to your side and just close your eyes. Avoid pulling your knees into your chest. Just allow the back line of the body, the sacrum, to settle. Allow the heart rate to come down. It may have elevated from the nature of the back bend. Release your hips and groin as you relax on the block. Good. Push into your feet and remove the block. Hug your knees into your chest and roll yourself up and grab that blanket and place the blanket so that when you lay back over the blanket, it's just underneath of your scapula, and extend your legs. Nice big breaths here. I'm gonna wiggle down a little bit. There we go. And if you have sandbags, it can be really nice to sandbag the wrists here. And now flex your left toes towards your knee. Stack your right knee over your right hip. Flex your toes. Keep anchoring your left inner thigh towards the floor and take your right knee across. And then try to squeeze your right heel higher than your toes. It won't happen, but just feel that action across the back line of the body, back of the pelvis. And then soften that twist and let your sole of your right foot come to your left knee. Turn your head to the right. And come back up to the center. Extend your right leg. Bend your left knee and stack it over your left hip. Flex your left toes. Flex your right toes. And then take that left knee across just a few inches. Try to kick your heel higher than your toes. Come back up to, soften into the twist. Sole of the left foot on your right thigh. Turn your head to the left. And instead, just place your right foot on the floor and then roll all the way onto your right side. Use your left hand to press yourself up and set that block aside, or blanket, and then come right back onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest and your hands next to your hips. Inhale, push your heels to the sky and sweep your arms alongside of your ears. Exhale, bend your knees in and lower your arms. Do that 4 more times. Inhale, arms and legs reach. Exhale. 3 more. Last time, in and ex. Hug your knees in, widen your knees, bring the soles of your feet to touch, and grab a hold of the pinky edges of your feet. Let everything start to soften and relax here, letting go of your efforts. Hug your knees back into your chest 1 more time. And then extend your legs along the floor for Shavasana. Let your heels settle wider than your hips, your palms to the sky. Nestle your shoulder blades underneath of you. Close your eyes and take 3 or 4 Ujjayi breaths. Honing your attention to your breath and starting to hone attention to soften the body, to cultivate rest. When you complete your last round of breath, release control of the breath and allow yourself to start to rest in effortless awareness. Just feel the body breathing effortless on the floor. Breath coming from nothing and returning to nowhere. There's the breath, and then there's this impulse behind the breath, this vital life force of prana. Please begin to deepen your breath. Take some small movements in your fingers and in your toes, gently starting to return awareness to your physical body. Roll over to a fetal position on your left side and press yourself up to a comfortable seat. You arrive in your seat. Arrange yourself so that your perineum is pointing straight down, so you are connected in the lower body. Your spine is free to lift and rise. Create a little bit of space underneath of your armpits. Lengthen your chin slightly towards your chest and Jalandhara Bandha. Begin to Ujjayi breathe. 6 count inhale and a 6 count exhalation. No pause at the top of in-breath and no pause at the bottom of the exhale. Now begin to add our attention at the top of the inhale. 6 count in-breath, 4 count retention of inhale, and a 6 count exhalation for 5 rounds. As you breathe in this way, sense the vitality that comes with building pranvayu, the enlivening effect of back bending. Continue to lengthen your chin towards your chest so that you are moving the prana away from the intellect and into your heart space. Causes no strain in the breath. Begin to now breathe a 9 count inhalation and a 9 count exhalation. When you finish your 5th round of breath, release control of the breath. Let your awareness drop into your heart space, this area where we have cultivated pranvayu and built energy around the heart in the center of the chest, deep in the chest. And sense from this area of the body an expansion of life force, warmth filling the whole of your body and the space beyond your body. The rising of courage and the elevated qualities of mind. Rest in that expansive awareness. Now become aware of a clear and infinite space, a vast expanse of clear blue sky, a cloudless, empty, limitless horizon. As any objects come into the mind, allow them to simply dissolve into the blue sky. Compassion unfolding as clear blue light of the heart, rising to meet your thoughts. Rest in this vast and pure infinite space. Your hands in front of your heart center and rub your palms together vigorously. You have some nice heat and warmth between your hands. Cup your palms over your eyes. Let the darkness in behind your hands. Release your palms. Let in the light and welcome yourself